Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined now by Villanova student athletes Ryan Archidiacono and Chris Jenkins, as well as the head coach, Jay Wright. We'll ask Coach Wright to make an opening statement, then we'll take questions.
We're thrilled. We're thrilled that we came out and played the first half like that. When I shook hands with Fran, I just said, hey, I'm sorry. We haven't played the first half like that in a long time. We played a game against Xavier at home that we played like that, and we've been on the other side of this, because when you just have a team that comes out and makes shots, makes every play defensively, it's tough to get back in it. So I just thought the first half was the key to the game. We weren't just hitting on all cylinders. Great leadership by Ryan Archidiacono and Daniel Chefu, and I'm thrilled for that senior class that they get to play in a Sweet 16.
We're going to open things up with questions first for the student athletes from Villanova. Questions for the student athletes only at this time. And we have one in the back on the right. Tim.
Tim Bonnis from the Washington Post. Ryan, it looked like when they announced on the loudspeaker that you guys had made it to the Sweet 16, you looked like you kind of sighed, maybe a little sigh of relief. Is it nice to finally be able to kind of check that box off?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a big-time sigh of relief. I was ecstatic that we won our game against Iowa because we know how good of a team they are. But I'm happy for our senior class to be able to get to experience it, and I know I was ecstatic.
Next question's to the right of the aisle for Nicole.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. Ryan, this is for you. Can you just describe your relationship with Jay? I mean, you guys had a long, extended hug there at the end when you got taken out for the last time. I know it's been 4 years of ups and downs, tournament-wise, finally getting the Sweet 16 together. What's going through your mind during the hug, and just can you describe your relationship?
It's a great relationship. Ever since day one, I think we've had trust in each other, and he trusted me as a freshman and throughout my years. But I think it's just I try to think of myself as him on the floor, because he tells me that if he was to play and when he played, that's how he want a player to play. So I just take pride in wearing this jersey in Villanova, and just my relationship with the coach is very special. We're kind of from the same area in Pennsylvania, but it's just it's a great one.
Can't say that.
We're going to move over to the left side, all the way left.
Ryan, VU Hoops, SB Nation. So I know with you, Arch, you were over here. Yeah, we're good. I know with you, Arch, your freshman year, you guys got in as an at-large your freshman year against UNC. But for Chris, this is your third time now in a tournament, and each time you've been with those round of 32 exits. What does this mean for you, knowing finally that your team can get past that hump?
That question's for Chris.
Yeah, it means a lot, especially, like Coach said, for our senior class, because they've done so much for our program. And for our junior class to, come into school and have those guys to look up to, and, for us to win in advance, it means a lot.
On the right side of the room toward the front, Len.
Len Robbins, New York Post, for both players. You guys have all heard that Sweet 16 question probably till you got sick this entire week. And I'm just wondering, did you guys have any sense before the game that you would come out so aggressive, so loose, so unburdened?
Ryan first, please, then Chris.
No, I don't think. I think it was kind of the same way like it was the other day when we played UNC Asheville. We tried to keep every game as the same magnitude, and we just try to come out and play our basketball and the basketball we know how to play. And I think we tried to hold each other accountable. And I think in the first half we knew how good Iowa was, so we knew how Utah and Jock could go off at any time. So we tried to focus on them, and then I think we just made stops and or got stops and made all the little plays.
Chris, same question.
Yeah, like Art said, we came out aggressive on defense, and that fueled our offense. And we were able to get some turnovers. And, our seniors did a great job in leading us and making sure that we stayed on top of, playing Villanova basketball for 40 minutes.
Moving to the left of the aisle, Adam.
Adam Zagoria from SNY. For both guys, Ryan, you said it was a sigh of relief. I mean, do you almost feel like now that you won this game, the pressure's off and you can just kind of move forward even more freely? And how far, can this team go for both guys?
Ryan first, please, then Chris.
Yeah, it's definitely a sigh of relief. I just think the biggest thing is I'm just honestly just done answering the questions about getting past the second weekend. I know it was always in the back of our senior minds and our team, but we definitely can go all the way as long as we stick to what we do. If we defend like we did in the first half and just stay solid like that, our offense will eventually come. But I think once we set the tone on the defensive end and rebounding, and we can go as far as that takes us.
Chris.
Yeah, like Art said, just defense and rebounding, because, at this point in the season, all the teams that you're going to play are great offensively. So it's going to come down who executes and who's the tougher team on defense.
Final question for the student athletes is going to go to Joe, front left.
Hey, Ryan, to your left, Joe Giuliano, Philly Inquirer. This was your 140th game for Nova. That's more than anybody else. What does that mean to have that kind of longevity and just be the guy at Villanova?
I'm old. I'm a senior. I try to, it's great, and I think our training staff has done a great job with keeping me healthy, whether I'm diving on the floor, diving over tables. So I just been able to stick with it and just kind of trust trust the process of what Villanova basketball is. But we know that as a senior class, that next year, I think these guys will beat every record that we ever set here. So got to look out for that junior class.
We'd like to thank Ryan and Chris for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to the Villanova locker room, which should be open for just a few more minutes. Questions for Coach Wright, and let's start right where we finished off with the student athletes. Front left, Joe.
Jay, the guys in the locker room were all saying that nothing was different this morning. No extra sense of anticipation or excitement. How does that happen? It just doesn't seem like they were overly fazed by, an elimination game when everyone had been talking about it for a year.
Yeah, we have a really mature group, and Joe, I think I've been trying to explain this. The will of a really determined athlete is much greater than any of the pressure that media or coaches or anyone puts on them. They were so determined to win this game and give their best effort in this game that it just superseded everything. And we try to approach, as a coaching staff, we try to approach each game that way too, that, you've put all the work in, let's just do what we do. And fortunately, it was good enough for them. I'm really happy for that senior class that it was good enough.
We'll stay on the left with Josh.
Josh Newman, Asbury Park Press. Obviously, for these guys, it's uncharted waters now going to a Sweet 16. But the fact that it's a lot of older guys like Arch and Daniel, would you expect them not to be wide-eyed and that they would come out on Thursday just like it's a regular game?
This coming Thursday? Yeah, I really do. They've been in a lot. They've won a Big East championship, played in Big East championship games, played in Bahamas championship game, NIT championship game. They've been through a lot. They will not be impacted by the moment. I think they'll be inspired. Now, Miami might have a lot to say about it, but about what happens there. But I have great confidence in them that way. I really do.
Staying on the left side in that same area. Adam, did you have one? No. Okay, let's move to the right of the aisle then with Nicole.
Thanks, AZ.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today.
Hey.
Jay, can you kind of walk me through when Jalen was coming in, was the plan all along to use him and Arch at the same time? And what does playing 2 point guards do for this team that last year's team, the year before's team, didn't do?
I didn't want to be rude when you asked your previous question, but when you asked him about the relationship, Chris said, "You're his son," because they all call him my son. They busted. That's why he said I couldn't say that. So I didn't want you to think we were whispering about you up here. That was the plan. We look at our guards as guards. We really don't have a point guard. We don't have a 2 guard. We don't have a 3 guard. We want all of our guards to do the same thing. So when we were recruiting, Arch had the biggest impact on the recruitment of Jalen. When Jalen came on his recruiting visit, he stayed in Arch's room. We had a hotel room with him, but he stayed and slept in Arch's room. They developed a great relationship. They are very, very similar people and players, very similar backgrounds. So we knew it was gonna be fine. And the traditional definition of a 1 guard and 2 guard, a lot of people asked us about that, thought it was gonna be a problem, but we were not worried about it.
We're going to stay in that second row on this right side. Is there a question right there? If not, we'll move over on this side.
Ed Benkin, KYW Radio.
Yeah.
Jay, now that this group finally busted through and got to the Sweet 16, when you look at what's going on around the tournament this year, is it more than ever a reminder that even if you're a favorite, if you're a high seed, just how difficult it is to get to this point?
Definitely, Ed. You know, when you don't get there a number of times, no one wants to hear that from the team that doesn't get there, right? And I get that. But that's really what when everyone was asking us, you know, are you worried about your program? You just know how hard it is. You look at Michigan State, you know, I mean, that team is a great team. It only takes one game. And if you really follow the tournament, you see it happens a lot. So we were not concerned at all about the tournament. We wanted it badly for this senior class. They're just great guys. I really didn't want them to go down as, you know, the winningest class in Villanova history, but they never got past the first weekend. That class, for everybody else, we were fine.
To the left of the aisle.
Jeremy Schneider, Star Ledger. As far as just, we got to talk to the players about this, but for you, how relieving is it to get past the first weekend? And the past few years with the disappointments, has it weighed on you? You guys have accomplished so much, but, you know, everyone bringing up the first since 09 thing. What's the relief and what the past few years have been like for you?
Honestly, the natural, you know, it's like if you, you know, if you have a cold and everybody keeps asking you, how's your cold? How's your cold? How are you doing? And like after a while, you're like, all right, I'm fine. You know, you know you got to answer the question. I'm just relieved that we don't have to answer the question. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal to us. You know, like I explained earlier, we don't evaluate our program that way. The biggest part for me was I really wanted to see, we have Ryan Arcidiacono and Daniel Sheffer, but we have 3 walk-ons, Pat Rafferty, Henry Lowe, Pat Kerry, and Kevin Rafferty, Pat Farrell, Kevin Rafferty. These 3 walk-ons, they were the original bench mob guys. Like they used to they did that before anybody did it their freshman year when we stunk. And I told them we need that because we need some fun around here. We need some positivity. But then after their freshman year, I said to them, hey guys, we need you to grow up now, and we need you to have an impact on these younger guys. And they really did. They stopped doing it. We had posters of the bench mob. This was back when they were freshmen. And they stopped doing it. And they really concentrated on basketball and getting the younger guys to buy in. So there's such a special group. If I'm really honest with you, the biggest stress on me was I wanted it for them, and we all did.
All the way in the back to the right, Tim.
Tim Bonus from the Washington Post. Jay, you guys, I mean, you mentioned how it wasn't a big deal to kind of address this all season, but you guys could have easily dismissed any talk about this not getting past this first weekend, or, you know, said we're not going to talk about it. Do you think the fact that you were kind of so upfront about the way you guys had to kind of just deal with it all year helped this weekend, the way you guys kind of, you know, dispatch these teams?
Yeah, it might have. It really might have. But and the way we looked at it was, we were either going to win this game and that was going to go away, or we were going to lose this game and they're going to have to deal with it. Right? That's life. You got to deal with it. It's like the Buffalo Bills. You know, they never won the Super Bowl. They got there 3 times. You know, it's just 4. So as a Buffalo Bills fans, I mean, you know, that's sports. You know, you lay it out there, you get a lot of praise, but you got to deal with it. So I think they really knew that's what it was going to be, and maybe that, you know, maybe that did help us because they weren't afraid. They definitely were not afraid of the failure. Nobody was afraid of playing this game. Great Iowa team. We knew we could have lost this game. No one was afraid of that outcome.
We have 2 more. We'll try to get them both in. Back right.
Andrew Rosario, New York Post coach. Typically, teams make runs in the second half, especially after being down by a lot of points. What did you tell your guys at halftime to make sure that you didn't allow them to get back into the game?
Yeah, I was proud of our guys in the second half as well as we played in the first half because we said at halftime that Iowa doesn't have to press us to speed this game up because they play so fast anyway. So don't, you know, we don't, all they have to do is play the way they play because they've beaten teams the same way in the first half. They're capable. And I thought our guys responded to that really well. Some teams, you know, they play a slower pace. They got to change how they play to get back in it. They were not going to have to. And we know guys like Utah and Jock, they could just go on a spurt. That's why we made the subs at the end. Them being down 16 isn't that big of a deal. Those guys could hit threes consecutively. You could be in trouble.
Final question to the right of the aisle.
Jay, can you elaborate on your relationship with your son, Arch?
We both are from Bucks County. We're both from the same, our high schools are right next to each other, rivals. He is a, you know, if you grow up in Indiana, you aspire to play in Indiana. It's your dream school. But if you're in the Northeast, there's so many schools around you. Both his parents went to Villanova. His mother was on my wife's freshman hall. The kid grew up watching Villanova basketball. Him putting on a Villanova jersey is like, you know, a kid at Alabama putting on an Alabama football jersey. He just lives it. I really don't talk to him that much. It's amazing. He is me. He takes care of everything. I really do worry about not having him here next year because I'm gonna have to work harder. Because everything he does is what I do. Everything he thinks about is what I think about. So I never meet with him. And it really allows me to coach the other guys because my best player, I don't really have to spend time with. We know exactly how we think. We're right. His family is from, his parents grew up where my parents grew up in Northeast Philly. It's just, we're the same person. It has just been a thrill to have him. I really do want to cherish every second we have him.
We're going to squeeze one more in for Adam.
Thank you. You're the best, Mark. I know there was a lot of talk about not going to Philly. Is it almost good going to Louisville now? You get more focus. You won't have the distractions of Philly, and you just kind of focus on playing.
That's the way we're going to look at it, Adam. But I would love being at home to Philly for a week right now. I'll just got to be honest about that. But Louisville's a good spot. I'm not mad about it, and that is the advantage. You know that. You know, you don't have as many distractions. The tickets for us, this was like a home game. That was the other thing. You know, I said sorry to Fran. That was a home game. That was crazy. The Nova Nation was so loud in there. And if we would have played in Philly, but the tickets were a major problem. So that helps. It really does.